Shalom, shalom. First, I want to start off by giving all honor, praises, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors into the elders, apostles, and bishops of GMS Great Millstone who rule well, teach, and edify. And peace and blessings to you, sincere Akim, or Akwat in his household of faith. My name is Yeshaya from the GMS Arizona Church. And Yahweh Ratazah going to make an edifying video. Going into Lord willing, this is our last Passover, man. The final one here in this wicked world, man, in this wicked society. We in the last milliseconds of Esau's rulership, as his brothers know, man. And through the spirit, a lot of things could get to really popping off. After this Pesach, man. After the Passover, a lot of things can be completely turned upside down, and so let's see. Okay, we'll start. I'm not sure where I want to start on this one, man. We might as well get the whole thing. It says, We'll start at 11, all right? It says, and thus ye shall eat. We might as well get the whole thing, man. We'll start from the top, read a little quick. And it says, Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of his souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. All right. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out of the sheep and from the goats, and ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and the upper door posts of your houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. And those bitter herbs, man, don't be eating lettuce, man. If you're partaking in the Passover, you should, to the best of your ability, man, horseradish, real bitter herb, man. Don't be eating some fucking lettuce, romaine lettuce. It's just crazy. Anyways, eat it not raw, nor sudden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the prudence thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that you remaineth out unto the morning, ye shall burn with fire. So this is the instructions on how to perform the Pesach, man. And it says, and thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. And you're eating it in haste, because this is a solemn assembly, man. This isn't shooting the shit and having fun, man. This is genuinely a life and death, assembly, man. And that's why the scriptures go into real novices not even taking a part of the Passover, because it could be, bad for them if you unworthily keep the Passover, man. You could die behind these things, and that's 100% facts, because, although you might die in a car crash, you might die to some stupid random thing, when anybody dies, man, whoever perished being innocent, what did you die, from, man? Why did the Lord deed that judgment on you? Like, you could have some people that do some crazy wicked stuff on you, and then right afterwards they start getting some heavy judgment. Ultimately, man, things are weighed in a balance in the spiritual realm, man. The Lord sees everything that you do, and so making sure that we try to the best of our ability keep the Lord's high holy days, right, is important, man. Days like this whole week, man, unleavened bread, man. Don't be eating no bread, man. Don't be drinking no beer, and this is a time to cut out leaven, all right, because after this, we don't know what's going to be popping off, man, but we understand it ain't going to be nothing good, man. And Lord willing, through the Spirit, I believe, Just watching the elders' videos, man, this could very likely be our last Passover, man, here in Babylon. Our last Passover under Esau's wicked rulership. And with all that being said, what manner of persons ought ye to be? We should take this, and be real spiritual with it, man. Cut all that leaven out, cut all that evil out, man. And it says, for it will pass through the land of Egypt, Salakia. Thus shall ye eat with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Ye shall eat it with haste. It is Yahweh's Passover, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both men and beasts, and against all the powers of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh, and the blood shall be to you. And we're hoping that the Lord passes over us, man, through mercy. Because, you could, Passover is a time like brothers is going into, like that time of the Passover, before and after, time where a lot of guys fall out of the truth, man, where the Lord can smite you spiritually, take that spirit off you. And Lord forbid, man, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua forbid, man, well, Lord willing, we endure to the very end, man, and we have to prepare our minds for that Passover mindset, man, and just getting, under that mercy and really having the Lord in our lives, man. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua in our lives, man. When we drink of the wine, it's like of Yahushua, man. Eating the meat, that sacrifice, man. We have to really think back unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and that sacrifice. And one of the chapters, man, that gets me, when I really want to think back to the bigger picture of things, man, is this John the 19th chapter, man, when Yahushua actually being crucified, man. This whole chapter, man, this will bring a tear to your eye, man, because this is ultimately, man, our Lord made that sacrifice, and we praise Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, for us being able to be, saved, man. And it's only for the nation of Israel. It's for the rest of these people on the earth that aren't of that nation, man. They fucked, man, straight up. Here and in the kingdom of Yahushua, because the kingdom of Yahushua is for Israel, where they will rule in an everlasting kingdom, wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. So with all that being said, man, this is a time to really remember the Lord's sacrifice as well. This is a time to really remember, the Lord in your life, to get rid of those vain and just, dumb thoughts. A time to really just dial into to spirituality, man. This is really that type of time. This is let me see. I could pull up a couple Hebrew prayers for you, Akim. You could pause and screenshot if you like, man. But these are some that I made through the Spirit for brothers, man. And some of them helped me. So. Please give me the spirit to study and understand. Please give me the truth and keep it in my mind. And the Heavenly Father, in the name of, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Give me the powers to be a man. Make me more learned and studied. Please make me to, this one's one of my favorite ones. Make me to be more comforted from the word and neglect the vain. All right? This is a time, man, where we have to really escape this fucking world. We have to get away from these vain things and vain, people. All hell's about to break loose. They already talking about a draft. They talking about power grids being shut down. They moving in that NWO quicker, man, because we in those end times. All right. All these things, when that enemy come in like a flood, the Lord shall lift up a standard, and we're hoping that we on the right side of that, man. All right. The Lord ain't dealing with everybody. This is Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And this, the Passover is a chance to get even more spiritual, man, to get closer to the Lord. Taking a part of the Lord's Passover, man, we submit to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, cutting all that leaven out, man, remembering that time, and it says that you may prove that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. And we always have to, try to exercise that in our lives to the best of our ability, man. We're not saved by the law. All right? We're saved through grace. No man can hold the whole law. We're not perfect. We're fucked up, man. And we have a lot of problems and we have a lot of issues. And we're trying, to our best to please the Lord, man. And all hell very likely can break loose after this Passover, man. Because, if you looking at back to where we were just at. And the Lord Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he sheddeth the blood upon the lintel and the two posts, and the Lord shall pass over that door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come unto your houses to smite you, man. Because we have to understand, too, that famine, pestilence, there's a lot of people that are numbered to the sword, man. This is Sirach chapter 39, real quick. And I think it's like, where is it at? Spirits created for vengeance. This is Sirach chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their forces, and appease the wrath of him that made him. Hail, fire, and hail, famine and death, all these are created for vengeance, man. And there's a lot of people that are gonna have to take a part of that, man. Straight up. And we hoping for some clemency, man. We hoping for the Lord to be pleased with us, to save us out of these troubles, man. This is Isaiah 65. Yeah, we'll get 65 and 11 says, but ye are they that forsake the Lord Yahweh, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto the number. Therefore I will number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil in mine eyes. A lot of people are ignoring the Lord. A lot of people, most people don't even believe in the Passover, man. There was this patient I was dealing with one time, and this is like during the fucking tacky old Christmas time. And man, he was like, you celebrate that? I was like, nah, man. I'm not trying to wear my cape at work, but like, nah, man, I really try to get away from that. He was like, why? He's a Jake, old Jake. I was like, oh man, I just don't really like those type of holidays. And he's like, what type of holidays you celebrate? And I told him, Passover, things like that. And he told me, you don't have to celebrate the Passover. And I just told him plainly, like, yeah, you do. Like, you don't say that in the Bible. I told him, read Leviticus 23rd chapter. He read it. He was like, what church you go to? Like, man, a lot of these people are in that gross darkness. We're blessed to even know that there is a Passover, man. We're blessed to know how to hold it. We're blessed that the Lord has revealed that unto us, man, through his prophets. Okay. This is a beautiful thing to be a part of. We're on the good side of the Lord, man. We're trying to maintain that. We're trying to stay in this truth, man. The scriptures say a little leaven leavened the whole lump, and that's why it's important for us to try to get all of that mess out, man. All of those evils out, to seek repentance in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, to close in on sincerity, man. Is your heart really in the right place with the Lord, man? Or would you turn your back under certain conditions, man? Because the righteous, I reserve 7,000 men that bow not the knee to Baal. There's going to be men that cannot be tempted by anything. And that's what we're hoping to be. Not by the most money in the world, not by the most beautiful women in the world, not by the most power or victories in the world. Ultimately the elect cannot be tempted by any of this mess, man. And that's what we're hoping to be. And that's why we also always, keep under our body, man. Totally carrying our cross and trying to X out this flesh to the best of our ability, man. And that's what we have to try to maintain. And it says, we'll read that one more time. It says, therefore I will number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil in mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And that's the two halves to the story, man. Those that reject the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai are going to be had in derision, and those that accept the Lord and are truly of the Lord, that follow the Lord, these are they that follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth, man. And that's what we're hoping to be. And it's going to be revealed here pretty soon. Through the Spirit after this Passover, man, a lot of things could very likely be turned upside down quickly, man. The Apostles' Hard is talking about months. It could be 3 months, could be 12 months, could be 20 months, man. But at the end of the day, we're closing in at the end of this wicked society, and man, we just want to make sure that we on the right side of the Lord, man. That we follow it, or we fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We love the Lord. We're keeping His commandments to the best of our ability, man. Because there's gonna be a lot of death and destruction, right? And when all that's happening, all those that are following Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, all those that have been diligent, are gonna be sitting back and looking at this like, I'm glad I'm not on that side, man. But hey, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to lastly give honor, praises, and infinite glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Chach